Okay, cool. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this afternoon or evening, probably depending on where you are. My name is Ian. I'm one of the board members here at EERICA, also an e-residency community leader. I'll be joined today by two awesome panelists, Federico and Kaspar. I'll give a quick intro about myself and then let you guys introduce yourselves. We'll just go with that order to simplify the tentative, are you going first, am I going first kind of thing. I'm originally from the US, currently live in South Korea, have been an e-resident for a very long time, helped to start EERICA, and my day job is working as a software developer. I'm one of the co-founders of Stadium Apps. We do location APIs for developers, and been doing that for a couple of years now. Federico, why don't you give us a couple of words about yourself?
Hi, Ian. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I am also a resident since quite a long time. And in my daily job is actually to help other entrepreneurs with their businesses. So I'm a business management consultant. And but I have a background, quite a lot actually, of background in finance and in investment. I actually have also been a financial advisor in the past, and this is still kind of my first love, as I would call it. So I am very glad to have the opportunity to speak about it.
Well, hello, and I'm actually really eager to hear more about your first love, Federico.
From a professional perspective, just to make it clear.
My name is Kaspar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Silva Hunt. We turned 5 years old less than a month ago, and or approximately a month ago. And what we do, we are actually partnering with EERICA, and as a service provider in the e-residency marketplace, we're offering a wide range of services. Started with accounting and law consultations in the beginning, but now have grown. We are also offering international tax consultations and creating all sorts of different entities in investment purposes as well. And our core value has stayed the same. We are looking for entrepreneurs who want to leverage their knowledge and wealth through Estonian jurisdiction, and we're creating these events for them twice a year. Next one is going to be in Mallorca in the beginning of March, and last one was in August in Estonia. So nice to meet you all.
Likewise. And Federico, I believe you've gone to some of their in-person events as well, right?
Yes, twice actually, in February this year and in August. And I have to say they are an amazing opportunity to meet other like-minded entrepreneurs and having fantastic conversations, meeting other great human beings, first and foremost, I would say. And then there are a lot of opportunities to start, getting your brain spinning around ideas and starting to create something together. So that's the great value added of these kind of sessions.
And speaking of meeting like-minded entrepreneurs, that's one of the reasons that I'm involved in the community side so much of e-residency and helping to start EERICA. And it was actually through an event like this that I met Federico. I think about 2 years ago. It's been a while, so I can't actually remember. It was like maybe 3 now.
Almost 3, almost 2.5,
yeah.
let's say.
Okay, yeah, and similarly, I also met Kaspar in Estonia through our mutual friend Christoph. So okay, cool. Introductions out of the way. the format for today is going to be pretty informal. It's going to be like a fireside chat. Let's keep it interactive. If anyone has any questions, then please feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you, PH, for joining us. Apologies that AirMeet doesn't work on Safari. Yeah, I've had similar issues like that in the past, unfortunately. I think they pretty heavily optimize it for only Patrick. Oh yeah, hey Patrick. Yeah, that's a problem. I wish that AirMeet would fix that. But yeah, it basically only works in like Chrome or Brave or something along those lines. So if anyone else has any issues, then feel free to rejoin in Brave or Chromium or whatnot. Yeah. So anyways, if you have any questions, then feel free to drop them in the chat, and we'll try and keep things interactive. So to kind of kick things off, the topic that we'll have today is investing as an e-resident. We're going to cover a wide range of things that are possible. Nothing that we say in this should be considered investment advice, by the way. Do your own research. We're simply here to talk about the kinds of things that e-residency lets you do as far as structures, access to brokerage accounts, private investments in companies, and things of that nature. So I'll start things off with our first question for the panel. What options do e-residents have when they want to invest in like public markets, like think stocks or something like that?
So who takes it?
Hey, whoever wants to go for it.
Okay, I will start then, Kaspar, if you allow me. And so there are actually a few options. There are several brokers that are offering the opportunity to open accounts to e-residency companies or to actually Estonian companies, because that's what we have in the end. So we have Estonian companies, and I can name a couple that I know for certain that are working with companies which are obviously Interactive Brokers, which is probably the most popular broker around the world, and Exante, maybe a smaller one. Those two I know for certain they are working, and probably there are others.
The name of that smaller one that you said again, Federico? I didn't quite catch that.
Exante, EXANTE at the end. Yeah. So
okay, cool. I'll put a link in the chat so everyone can look that up.
So these are two that I know work. Maybe there are others. I'm not saying there aren't. I just don't have experience with them. And so these are two pretty. There are. Those are two brokers that are offering the availability to reach most of the regulated markets, let's say. So we're talking here about listed companies or trading bonds or trading other financial instruments like futures, options, everything that is traded on an exchange, just to summarize it. And also with very wide geographic reach in all over the world. So that's basically everything you can do with that, with those two brokers or with brokers in general. And this is the easiest way, I would say, to access financial markets, regulated financial markets. The good thing is that you can do this through your own company based in Estonia, which is actually simplifying. But here, actually, Kaspar for sure can tell us more about this. But it's actually a great way to simplify reporting and all the tax implications around the management of this kind of investments. Plus, I would say it's also good for the management of the liquidity of the company. So if you do have some spare cash, let's say that is just sitting on the bank account, those are actually also excellent ways to put this money to some good use while you wait for a better opportunity.
I believe you're muted, Kaspar.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't hear you. While Kaspar resets his microphone, really. Yes. Yeah, you're good.
So I muted myself for 1 second when I was blowing my nose, or how do you say it? Wiping my nose.
Yeah.
So I want to say that I'm using this AirMeet for the first time. And is there also some raise hand like option here, or somehow just when I want to add something like that, or in addition then?
I think you can just raise your hand or type in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Regarding this topic, we do have customers who are using interactive brokers. Many do. It's a great chance. I'm also using interactive brokers myself, and it does have a wide range, as you also said, range of different uh, assets there. You can, to whichever market and to whichever asset you want to invest in. It's very well systemized. I think the biggest player in the market, and we do have also a partner of ours who helps our customers to get their account if they wish some help. It's a Swiss trade. So that's certainly that one. The Exante I hadn't heard from, but sounds cool. So that's another option that we maybe will start offering or like talking about in the future. Thanks for that, Federico. And I'm just thinking that has Federico or Ian, for that matter, you're also investing, as far as I know, invested also into some kind of housing or like these platforms where you can put your money into on real estate. Do you do that as well?
That's a great. I completely missed that in my prep. That's a great call out, Kaspar. I'm familiar with Estate Guru. I think that there's a couple of other platforms as well, specifically in the Estonian market. And then, of course, you can use things like interactive brokers to invest in like publicly listed real estate investment trusts.
Yeah, I can add here that actually there are several platforms that are working on topics like, which are actually other additional asset classes that are available for investors through the Estonian company, which is everything related to the crowd investing part, which means well, there's stuff related to investing in companies or in loans or in real estate as well. Covering different geographic areas. Estate Guru, you mentioned it is a quite popular one for real estate. There are actually a ton of other, I would say, literally a ton of others. Although there used to be many more in the past when it was when the industry was younger, let's say. Now, also thanks to European regulation coming in, the number of platforms is kind of consolidating a little bit, but also becoming a bit more mature as a sector. So yeah, there's really a lot of opportunities to invest in different kinds of asset classes, also unlisted, because those are obviously not on regulated markets. But yeah, there's many opportunities. Maybe I can just name a few in general. There's the most popular one. There's Bondora, for example, which is also Estonian, investing in loans. There's Mintos, also investing in loans, which is I think the biggest lending crowdfunding platform in Europe. Then there are a few others, for example, also in the equity space. So companies like Cedars, like Investor, like Companisto. So there's really a huge variety of companies that of platforms that you can choose, and that are investing in different assets and in different geographies. And yeah, some platforms in some countries require actually to have a VAT registration in the country where they are investing into. I know about this for sure in Spain and Italy. This is something that happens. So for local platforms, but for platforms in other countries, you don't have this restriction. So you actually have a lot of variety to choose from.
Can you clarify that bit on the VAT registration, Federico? Does that mean that if you had an Estonian number, then that wouldn't be portable over to Spain, for example?
Yes, exactly. So you need to have you need to have a basically a subsidiary or a permanent establishment in the country to be able to do that.
And also, if you do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I was trying on my earplugs for a minute and was afraid it's not working. But also, if you have an Estonian bank account, if you do, then you can use that to buy some assets. And I believe also Revolut has this ability, right? So you can use those to buy stuff to invest in.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, Kaspar, I know that, for example, LHV, which is the main Estonian bank, is offering also the possibility to trade some cryptos even through the bank account.
Yep. Yeah. Good.
There are some restrictions on that, though. Just to point out for sake of completeness. For example, LHV turned down my company, my Estonian company, for an investment agreement because we have U.S. citizens as shareholders. So there are definitely some caveats that can apply. So even if you can get a banking relationship with, say, LHV, that doesn't necessarily guarantee a securities account with them. And for that case, I would personally, not investment advice or anything, but I don't get paid for this, but I would personally recommend Interactive Brokers because you can still access the Tallinn Stock Exchange or whatever, and you can usually do so for lower fees than what LHV would charge if you want to just invest in some Estonian companies that are publicly traded, which would be the main reason to get a LHV investing account. Circling back to a few levels up, Kaspar, my impression is that it's generally easier to get a brokerage account with something like Interactive Brokers than it is to get an Estonian bank account. I was just curious if you had anything from your client experience with Silva Hunt to back that up, or if that's just my impression.
I confirm.
Okay. Good to know.
So, yeah, you're really, just to maybe extend it, it might be common knowledge, but it's really the business ties to Estonia have to be really clear, and I feel that's a feeling that it's gotten even to the point that it has to be even clearer now, and it. Yeah, so you really need to have those ties to get that bank account. But with Interactive Brokers, it's quite straightforward. And as I said, if you need help, then we can also do that. We can help through a partner to get the account.
That's awesome. And I want to
with Interactive Brokers, just to bring it out there.
Yeah. And that's also interesting because another piece of kind of exclusive hacks or whatever that you won't hear anywhere else is that Interactive Brokers also offer some level of banking services. You can hold accounts you can hold balances in multiple currencies. I personally don't have a debit card from them, but I know that it is possible to get a debit card. I don't know if that's possible with an Estonian company, but and you can do, for example, wire transfers, things like that. So there are some things that you could do as far as the banking side if you wanted to have something that was held in a internationally regulated financial institution with the various protections that involves. So that's definitely something to to research, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. We got a couple of questions in the chat. Federico, you actually mentioned Mintos on the loan side. Patrick said that they started doing ETFs and bonds as well, and was wondering what anyone thought about that.
I was not aware of the bonds side. I knew about ETFs. As far as I know, they are still rolling this feature out. I don't know if it's already available for everyone. I saw that in the webpage there is this now the link to go into the ETF sites, but not sure if it's actually already rolled out for everyone. One caveat or potential caveat here is that I had the opportunity to speak with them a few months back, and they were actually saying that the way they're going to structure this is basically through a sort of a managed account. So you are investing into something that they manage, and then they do the investment and the diversification through the acquisition of different ETFs, and then you just get a position in this kind of sort of a fund to a certain extent. It's not exactly a fund, not technically a fund, but that's more or less how this is how they explained to me this would be working. And so just to, because from their perspective, the point is to keep the easiness of investment. So you get something which is coherent with your risk profile, and you just put in the money, and then that's it. They do all the rest. So you're not really actively taking investment decisions. Let's say that's what I know about it.
It looks like they build you a portfolio of ETFs basically, and it's from names like iShares and Vanguard, but I can't really find it. I guess it's like I guess it's like one of those robo-advisor kinds of things, because they say like just the terminology that they say, like dynamically rebalance to align with your financial goals and stuff. It sounds like the robo-advisor kind of thing, where you answer some questions and then you get some ETFs that it will automatically invest in and rebalance or something. But yeah, it looks like it's still early access from what I can see on their site.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It is for sure a new thing that they are just creating.
Yeah, makes sense. Martin chimed in with another question about can you buy land in other European countries with an OÜ? I would assume the answer is yes. And then if yes, what business activities may the OÜ do without triggering a permanent establishment? That's an interesting question.
Yes, you can. And now, if you buy that land, of course it's physical. Then, if you somehow monetize it, you will have to pay the taxes in the country where the land is. Now, which activities can be used not to trigger the permanent establishment? To that answer, I have no answer to that right now. I can only assume, but I'd rather not, if it's even possible.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, that would probably require like a more personalized tax consultation, potentially with an advisor familiar with the second country in which you're purchasing the property and the use of the property and things like that. Another question, any recommendation for getting an LEI?
Yeah, I used Bloomberg when I bought mine.
I bought it from a company called Rapid Lay. LEE. And yeah, so far so good. Actually, I don't remember what was the price, since Patrick is asking actually a price comparison. So I don't remember that, because I think I put, you can have some multi-year packages. So it was a couple of years back, or 3 years back, when I did it.
Me neither. I just remembered when I did the research, it was the cheapest. And right now I went on the website to check the prices. I can't find right now, but yeah.
I found the pricing on Rapid LEI. It's 1 year is $60, 3 years for $153, and 5 years for $225. So you do get a bit of a discount as it scales, as you like go for a longer term. But seems like everyone's pretty much in the same ballpark. You said you're paying 69. Was that euros or dollars? Rapid LEI is giving me pricing in dollars, and that was in euros. So Rapid LEI would be significantly cheaper. Yeah, question for the Europeans on the panel. What's the difference in the various LEI providers? Like, is it a number? Is it like it feels like it's kind of like a domain registration or a certificate?
Yeah.
No, that's a bad example. It's more like maybe domain registration or certificate authority. Like, is there really any difference at the end of the day?
Not that I am aware of, at least.
Okay.
I don't know, Kaspar, if you have a different experience.
You mean different? If it makes a difference where you register it? Was that the question, or what was the question?
Yeah, like
if this provider is different, if there is any difference in the providers. I don't think so.
Just price, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they have to legit sell the LA, but otherwise.
So it's probably like domain registration, where it's like there's a bunch of different providers and there's regulation on who can offer them, and beyond that it's kind of like pick your favorite. They got some small tiny things that differentiate them, but yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, cool. Well, that was interesting, rabbit hole. I learned something new. Yeah, okay. So I love how yeah, exactly. Like, it's very obscure why it's needed and what exactly they verify. Yeah. Kaspar.
We cannot hear you, Kaspar. Kaspar, we cannot hear you. Okay, now it works.
Oh, tricky. So just to share that lay code, actually, at least the interactive brokers contacted me when my lay code was needed renewal, or in a sense that it gotten old. I had to renew it, and there was rumors that it's not checked or whatever, but I can say that at least I got the notification when mine was needed renewal, that I needed to do that.
Yeah. As about the purpose of it, I have no clue. I guess it gets into the big and thorny topic of AML.
Yeah. Which brings up the question of, like, they've already done like their KYC and AML checks and stuff like that. So what's the point of having another number to identify
sometimes
you?
people like checking just for the sake of checking.
Yep.
So
that's my opinion.
Especially governments like that a lot.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. Well, I feel like Patrick is kind of reading our mind here today, because his next question is actually exactly what we were planning on talking about next, which is investing in Estonian startups, or even like more non-specifically just investing in any kind of private company with your OÜ. So yeah, let's dive in with talking about how to invest in Estonian companies, like the mechanics of all that. We'll talk about the mechanics first, and then we will get some like how do you get more info and finding startups to invest in and stuff like that later. So there's a couple of ways that you could invest as an e-resident into another private company in Estonia. You could do this either individually or probably makes more sense to use an OÜ in most cases. Keeps things a lot easier and definitely some tax advantages there. So like the first one that comes to my mind is just doing a direct share capital investment. Kaspar, maybe you could just take us through like what's the overall process that investors should expect for doing a like a direct share capital investment in a company.
No, you're
Yeah,
muted
we're doing Zoom next time. Sorry. I'll take okay. I'll take this one, and then Kaspar can wave his arms when I say something stupid or wrong. So broadly speaking, because I've actually done this myself somewhat recently. So like broadly speaking, you would have an investor agreement that would be signed between you and the company, stating the terms that your OÜ is going to invest in theirs, that you're going to be putting in a certain amount of capital, and will thus issue a certain number of new shares. And legal providers like Silva Hunt can help out with drafting or reviewing these kinds of agreements. Then I believe in some cases you may need to have a notary meeting. I'm not sure about the particulars of when that's needed. Maybe if Kaspar, I think your audio is working now, if you can chime in on when that is necessary.
Your share capital has to be at least 10,000 to be able to skip notary. You can and depends. You might need still apostille some documents, but that's as far as I know right now.
Gotcha. Online, Patrick, the notary can be done completely online. So you can use the e-notary service. You can book the appointment online. You can filter by notaries. I believe you can filter by ones that speak English as well as ones that have online. I haven't done this personally, but I believe Martin in the chat has done this personally quite recently, and that seemed like a pretty easy experience from what he was telling me.
You can even do hybrid, which is the weirdest.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, one person in on video. Yeah. Huh. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, Estonia makes things super easy on that side. So okay, so you've got your investor agreement, you've signed that among all the investors and the current shareholders. Then you get the notary meeting. The notary will countersign everything, basically giving you the AOK to submit to the register the statutory increase of the share capital, and then of course you can make the transfers. Does that sound like a pretty accurate overview of the process, Kaspar?
It does.
Awesome.
I will still check with my lawyer before I give
Yeah.
but it
yeah.
logical.
Yeah. This isn't yeah. We already gave our disclaimers at the beginning. What are some other ways that we could invest in Estonian companies? Maybe Federico, you could take us through some of the other options, like various notes or bonds or loans, things like that.
Actually, before we get there, I think that the most maybe common and easy way to invest, for example, in startups in Estonia is through, again, through crowdfunding. There are actually crowdfunding platforms also in Estonia. Funderbeam is, I think, the most structured and developed one. There is also Fundwise, as I recall. I think these are the two most popular ones. And basically, they get the hassle out of this whole process that Ian and Kaspar, you were mentioning before. So basically, they are websites where you have a sort of a marketplace of companies that are actually offering equity, and you can purchase shares through the website. They are obviously taking care of all the admin behind that. The admin behind that is actually something that you can get access to directly, which is basically you can invest through a syndicate, or an SPV. In a nutshell, it's SPV stands for special purpose vehicle. It's nothing else than a company whose purpose is simply to collect the investments from several investors and then deploy this capital into another company. So let's say that the background operation is always the same as you described. It's just done by a different intermediary or a different entity, so that you have different kinds of relationship. This is also related to whether you are making an investment alone, or in a group, or in a syndicate, or in a together with maybe other, for example, business angels that are helping and supporting companies and startups. So that's those are actually two other ways you can do. For loans, I think that actually, as far as I know, any company can lend money to another company. It's just an agreement. So it's you need to have. I would recommend having some legal advice here, so that you have a sound drafted loan contract that you can use, setting out exactly what are the key features, let's say, that you need to have in this contract, and that's basically it with respect to bonds. Broadly speaking, Kaspar, you're muted. Sorry.
It's
no.
not coming across again.
Maybe you can just type it in the chat quickly. We can take it from there. If it's a quick consideration, or otherwise, I don't know. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, we'll do Zoom next time.
And so, yeah, I was saying you just need a loan contract there, and that's it. Other options that are actually available, I would say internationally, so not only in Estonia, but also with other countries, are other types of contractual agreements that you can have between companies, which could be going from stock options or safes. Safe is a simple agreement for future equity. So that's also a type of instrument that is becoming quite popular in the past months, and almost every country is now creating their own version, adapting to their own legislation. But of course, a safe is was originally created in the US, and but yeah, those are also simple ways to actually get exposure to a company's equity or a company's performance.
Yeah, there's also Did we talk about yeah, we talked about SPVs a bit. Did we talk about joining a like an angel syndicate yet, and some of the places that people could look for that?
Yeah, then we didn't talk about that. We just mentioned it. Actually, this is one way also to invest in startups is obviously to join a business angel network. This is one you can do it personally if you want, so on a personal basis, but you can actually also invest through your company. Again, the purpose of business angel networks is to put investors together and structure the way that they can access to deal flow. Deal flow means investment opportunities being presented to them on a regular basis. Just to
Demystify the jargon.
Yes, exactly. So again, this is something that can be done. In Estonia, for example, there's EstBAN, which is the Estonian Business Angel Network, which is, by the way, by statute, taking care of taking a look at whatever interesting startups there are in the Estonian space, and potentially including also resident companies, because once again, they are Estonian companies in the end. And so they do this activity of actually gathering information about startups. They typically do it through their network, and yeah, providing opportunities to other investors.
Yeah, I would say that if you want to invest in Estonian startups, then EstBAN is probably going to be one of the best options for that. So if you're interested in investing at a more serious level, I guess I would say, for lack of a better term, like it doesn't really make sense for you to join an angel network unless you're going to be somewhat consistently investing. Like it's not just like, oh, I want to just go invest like, a few $1,000 or euros or whatever, just like one time. It's something that you should consider joining if you're going to be a bit more serious about being an angel investor. But that's probably the best place to go to see what's happening in the Estonian market. And you're probably going to see slightly, like there's different like levels, of course. You've got like the crowdfunding, and the barrier to entry to that is a bit lower, and it makes it a lot more economical to invest a smaller amount. An angel network, then you do have like membership fees and things to consider, as well as the costs of their syndicates or whatnot. But it can be extremely efficient, and you're going to see the deals that are of maybe a higher quality, because there's a like higher bar to get into that. And then like moving up the levels, then you would have like the VC funds and stuff, which you would need significantly larger amount of capital to invest in those. But they're going to unlock different sets of opportunities. And so it depends a bit on the size of the investments that you're looking to make, and the regularity, and what kinds of things you're looking to invest in. Also, on the like even smaller side of things, like just network with other e-residents, go to the startup ecosystem events, and there are going to be investment opportunities that aren't on the radar of EstBAN, that aren't going through the crowdfunding avenues, that are still looking for private investments. And you can find those just through, like, it's just like anything else. Like how do you get a job? How do you start a business? How do you make a sale to an enterprise? It's all about networking at the end of the day. Federico, you were going to say something?
Just to add on this, there are also business brokers. This is let's say less about, maybe a little bit less about startups and more about kind of traditional businesses. But yeah, that's also a perfectly valid opportunity if you want to, if you have something in this space. Kaspar,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now, yes.
Excellent. I want to say that regarding the syndicates, SPVs, and so on, as far as I've heard, the entry points, of course, as you also said, like in the syndicates, it is lower. SPVs, it might be around 10,000. Being a limited partner in a fund, it starts from 100K. So entry points are different, as also Ian suggested, and maybe it was something I could have added in the last point, but or let me know if it's relevant or not. Regarding the grants, so if you are looking to invest into Estonia, there's also grants. So can I share something about grants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
go for it.
There's just this one grant right now that is for Eastern Estonia, meant for Eastern Estonia, and there's actually, you can apply for 153,000. You need to have your own your own finances up to 35%, and it's it's in the Ida-Viru. It's in the same area where actually the Kool-Jõhvi and is, for example. And it's a good way to start a business, to create some kind of manufacturing there. It's meant for also for R&D projects and businesses. So as an e-resident, you can also apply for those and start a company, start a business in Estonia with grants.
Fascinating.
And the last one that I talked about, this is the period is 2022 to 2026, and if you get the money in that period, then you will have to build the manufacturing or the start or finish the R&D project in year 2029. So these are the limits. And why it's super interesting is also that it was also in the news that not many people are applying. There's like money to be handed, but so this is a great opportunity. And as an e-resident, also you can think about this as an investment. Invest into creating a company in Estonia, getting a grant. Yep.
Yeah, that's can you give some more information about that as a link, or also maybe even additionally for the recording, the name of the grant program?
Yep, right here in the chat.
Awesome, cool. I'll try and save these links as well, so that we can share these with members after the fact. That's super cool. So yeah, that's both interesting on the side of getting investment for your own company, which we didn't really talk about too much in this call, but also if you invest in a company that's incorporated in Estonia, being able to access non-dilutive funding, because that's actually, maybe Federico can give a little aside about that, but that's like one of the things that you also have to worry about, particularly as a smaller investor, is dilution throughout the company's life cycle.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a part of a broader topic of what happens with your investment. So, and what are the things that you need to take care of, especially if you take a sort of a kind of a business angel approach. So you're investing in a small company, in an unlisted company, and then what could happen moving forward. So obviously, dilution is one of the risks. Dilution means company needs to raise additional capital. So either you participate pro quota, so with your share. If not, if you don't put the additional money in, you get diluted, means your share becomes proportionally less after the round. So getting non-dilutive funding means getting sources of capital that are not requiring equity. One of the great things about having a company in Estonia, especially for non-Europeans, is that you get access to the whole grants system or the grants ecosystem, actually, provided by EU states, but also the EU as a supranational entity. So that they're also having a lot of programs, which is, yeah, you get access to those as well.
And then, so kind of wrapping up the whole the whole life cycle of a company thing and your investment in it. Let's talk about the ways that you get paid at the end of all this, because we've talked so far about ways that you can structure your investment, but how do you get paid at the end? One of them is dividends, and I believe that there's some tax advantages if the dividends are paid to another Estonian company. Maybe Kaspar, if you could chime in with a little bit on how dividends work in Estonia and any things that investors should be aware of.
Yeah, first of all, going into the dividends, currently there is tax rate of 20% on dividends. This, as far as I know, will be changed in the future, but there's going to be, or there currently is also that 3 years in a row you pay dividends, it can go as low as 14. Now, I have to say that I think it's changing in 2000. What year was it?
Yeah, I think so.
And if you pay out dividends, it's taxed on the company level, so it's taxed when it's paid out to another company or to the individual, and yeah, it's quite straightforward. Yeah, please elaborate or ask more if I can explain.
Yeah.
I think maybe Kaspar, the thing that is worth mentioning here, correct me if I'm wrong, is that so suppose you have a sort of a holding company, so you're managing these investments through an Estonian company. When the company you have invested into is paying dividends, they are paying the taxes. The dividends that are received by the holding company, when they are further distributed to you, for example, they are not taxed anymore. So they don't get taxed twice.
Yes, correct.
Just to make it clear.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yes, there is if you have like higher percentage in the shares or in the company that paid out the dividends, if you're a micro investor into in Nasdaq or in a marketplace, then it actually is taxed in the end as well. But if you are an owner or in a company and then pay out the dividends, then in the end it's not taxed twice. Correct.
Makes sense. And then the second way that particularly in the startup ecosystem that people tend to think of for exiting is the sale of a company to another investor. What does that look like? And I would imagine it's pretty simple in Estonia specifically. Like, I would imagine that's a pretty simple process, similar to what we talked about earlier with the process of notary meeting and that kind of thing. Anything else that investors should expect or be aware of when it comes to selling a company?
Maybe one thing, don't have my personal experience in this, but somebody who is working in Invest in Estonia had a meeting with, and they shared that mergers and acquisitions, for example, or like selling a company, she had experience in America, and it was super normal, usual that everybody are buying and selling companies all the time. But in Estonia, it's not so popular. Perhaps we do have companies who are working with mergers and acquisitions. One of them being Red Capital. I think they're doing it wider, not only in Estonia but Baltics and maybe even more wider. But her input was that it's not very usual, and the drastic difference between American experience and Estonian one.
I think,
Yeah, I think
this
that's
is most,
probably partially reflective of the culture of Silicon Valley and things like that.
Yeah, I would say it's broader to the difference between the US and Europe in general, not only only Estonia. So that's kind of it. There are, as I was mentioning before, anyway, there are some things happening anyway. Probably there are also specialized legal firms that are specializing on M&A operations. I think that here the main point to highlight maybe is also regarding the taxes, which is the fact that if you have a holding company in between the target, let's say, that is being acquired and yourself, that allows you to better plan the taxes eventually. So the company, the target gets acquired. You receive a hell of a lot of money, hopefully. So we because we want to be very positive also towards you. So you receive a hell of a lot of money, and if you receive it personally, you basically need to pay a hell of a lot of taxes right away. Having a holding company which is fiscally resident in Estonia means that this money is received by the company. You don't actually pay taxes on it unless you distribute dividends. But again, the point is that you can choose how to pay the dividends. If you want to pay them out all together, or if you want to split them over a few years. So this is also kind of balancing and optimizing the flow of taxation. It's never tax avoidance. So it's not about avoiding taxes. It's just to optimizing the way you pay them in the course of time.
Yeah, and if you have ambitious plans and are going to become a millionaire in the future, your startup is going to fly, then definitely I recommend you coming to Estonia to found a holding company for that startup if you don't want to bring the startup itself here. Ecosystem for startups is pretty good, especially in Europe's numbers or comparing to the Europe's numbers. But also we have a customer who exited and had to pay tens of millions at the exit instead of an Estonian option. He could have kept the money in the company, reinvested it, and so on. So those things are important to keep in mind. And fortunately, Estonian jurisdiction and ecosystem does support startups, and we do have quite steady political climate. So good option to bring your holding company to.
By the way, if you have a company like that, so that is going to be super famous and exit at 100 times the value, please let us know.
Yeah.
Already now, when you're pre-seed, then let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
If you have a good idea, let us know.
Well, this air meet session is going to end in about 30 seconds, but we'll keep we'll stick around here for a little bit at the networking table feature, which I hope works a little bit better for everyone's audio than the main session did here. Thanks for joining, everyone. You know where to find us on Discord and Slack. And in summary, talk to Kaspar at Silva Hunt if you need any more specifics on the legal and tax side, and we'll send out a list of resources. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you at the networking tables. Cheers.
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 Bye.